Monday. That means no. Ciao, my friends. My name is Erin. I'll be your safari guide this evening through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. If you take a look above your heads, you'll see an animal spotting guide up there. I know it is a little hard to see. It's pretty dark outside, but Hakuna Matata, no worries, my friends. I am an animal spotting guide myself. Now we have transitioned into our nighttime safaris, friends, so I do ask that you refrain from the use of flash photography and external lighting of any kind. That means any flashlights, laser pointers, light up ears, lightsabers, bubble wands, light up necklaces, all of those things need to be turned off for me. That's for the safety of our wild animals out here, as well as for the safety of me as your driver. Yes, I am really driving this truck. We want to make sure that I don't have any bright flashes in my eyes and then accidentally run into a train. I wouldn't do that, I promise. But also, we don't want to scare the animals away. A lot of the animals are unfamiliar with those bright lights. They're used to the lights here on the truck, they're used to the lights in the reserve, but those bright flashes that we may not be used to can sometimes scare them off. We want to make sure we're being as safe as possible for them because we want to see as many of them as possible. Now, since it is darker, it will be a little harder to see some of these animals. You have to look for shadows as well as look for any sorts of little movements that you can see, but also keep your ears open. You never know when those animals are going to make noise, which is really, really cool to check out and hear. Now we're entering into the Little Aturi Forest. A lot of the animals out here specifically are natural colored, so they do tend to blend in with their surroundings, which is great for them because it means they can hide away in the thick brush of the forest. It does make it a lot more difficult for us to see them, especially at nighttime. So you do have to keep your eyes wide open and your fingers crossed. And because they can blend in so nicely here in the dense vegetation of the forest, it gives them the ability to hide from predators very easily, which is wonderful for them. Coming up on the left-hand side, you will see a black rhino all the way up at the top of the hill. If you look for the shadow, it's just to the right of that. Black rhinos are the smaller of the two rhino species here in the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. They can weigh up to about 3,000 pounds and they're about 35 miles an hour. They are unfortunately critically endangered. There's only about 5,000 of them in the world. That is due to poaching. They're poached for their horn, which is made up of keratin, the same substance that makes up our fingernails and hair as human beings. A lot of the animals here, because they can blend in so nicely, will use the cover of darkness to have their children. It does allow for a little extra protection from predators and can give them some more time to spend with their newborns to make sure that they're clean and well acclimated to the world before they have to be back on alert for them during the daytime. But it does look like a couple of these animals out here must be playing hide and seek with us. But that's okay. Hakuna Matata, no worries, my friends. We have all kinds of other places to check out. So we're going to continue on. We're going to head towards up to the Safi River. The Safi River is home to all kinds of animals that like to be near, in, and around the water. For a lot of them, it is a means of regulating their body temperature to keep them cool here in the hot days in Africa and to get their blood pumped as much as possible. And keep your eyes peeled in the water. We never know when we may spot a hippo come up for air. Hippos will spend most of their day underwater. They can hold their breath for around 8 minutes at a time. They usually only completely surface when it's time to graze on leafy greens. Hippos are herbivores, so they mainly eat things like grass, lettuce, and bushes. Coming up on the left here, there are some hippos in the water. They're just to the left of the big island there. They kind of look like rocks that are floating in the middle of the water, but those are hippos back there. Hippos. Like I said, hippos are herbivores. They'll eat leafy greens, but that does not mean that hippos are not dangerous. They're still probably one of the top 3 most dangerous animals here in Africa. Extremely territorial animals. They'll use their large sharp teeth and powerful jaws for defense of their territory, only sharing with, as you can see here, quite a few number of birds. Now these birds here are known as the Beanbag Pelicans. They get their name because their backs turn pink during mating season, which it just so happens to be right now. They'll live in groups of 20 to over 500 pairs of birds, and in order to find their perfect mate, they find their perfect shade of pink. As we head around the corner, we're going to see what else we can find. It does look like we may be coming up on the Nile Crocodiles here. The Nile Crocodiles are one of the few animals that have 2 different group names. They can be called a basque when they're on land and a float when they're in the water. Crocodiles can grow to be about as long as a giraffe is tall, which is around 20 feet, and weigh up to about 500 pounds full grown. Now one of these crocodiles can eat around half its body weight in a single serving of food, and they may not need to eat again for up to a month, give or take some time. Now, while their diet mainly consists of fish, their jaw strength clocks in at around 2,000 pounds per square inch of force, which means that in a single bite, they can completely bite through bone. So they'll pretty much attack anything and everything that gets in their path. That can include animals like small zebras and even wildebeest, which doesn't give me all that much of a warm, fuzzy feeling on the inside. So we are going to make our way out of the Safi River. We're going to head up towards the savannah and see what kinds of animals we can find out here. The largest part of our reserve. It's very vast and open, made to emulate how large the Serengeti grasslands and savanna of the actual Africa is. All the animals out here are free roaming. They do come and go as they please, so we never really know who or what we're going to see out here. Now, all these animals here, because they are free roaming, do tend to move around a bit. They aren't as concentrated as the other animals in the reserve, so we do have to check out and see what animals we may see. They may be a little bit more spread out than normal. We're coming up on a den here on the left-hand side. Let's see if we can find what this den belongs to here. Now that is a spotted hyena. If you look for the shadow there, it's a little further to the left. It's moving about. Spotted hyenas are not related to cats or dogs. They have their own family known as the Hyenidae, which also happens to be a female-run society, so the lowest-ranking female is going to outrank the highest-ranking male. The hyenas are not scavengers, despite being labeled as them. They are hunters. They can hunt for most of their food and devour their prey, bones and all, excluding the skull in around 30 minutes flat. They are extremely good at hunting. Now, hyenas have about 30 different vocalizations they use to communicate with each other. The most popular one that you're used to hearing is that laughing sound. We hear all the movies, but they also have a high-pitched whooping noise, which is pretty popular to hear here in the reserve. It can be heard from around a mile away. It's a very powerful sound. It does look like as we head up a little further, we are going to be coming up on a couple different animals here. Let's see, once we get a little closer, I should be able to identify them. I do believe I see the wildebeest coming up here. The wildebeest are going to be all these gray animals that are laying down in this circle here. They have the largest migrational group of any animal. About 1.5 million of them will travel 500 to over 1,000 miles each year. They are mainly a migratory species, so their babies have to learn to walk within 15 minutes of being born. If they do not learn to walk, they get left behind. The wildebeest are a firm believer in safety in numbers. That is most evident when you see them sleep. They sleep in a star-shaped pattern, which allows them to see in a 360 view at all times. That 360 view allows them to see for any nocturnal predators, but also if they were to hear the danger call of one of their own, or even of another animal they recognize, they could get up and run away without worrying about knocking into each other. We're coming up here on a Patterson zealand on the left-hand side. And this is a very large antelope, as you can see. This is the alpha male Patterson zealand, and he is very, very large. He can weigh up to about 2,000 pounds and stand at about 6 feet tall. But a lot of the animals here on the savannah will learn to sleep in shifts, always having at least one or two of them awake at all times to look out for danger, including lions and hyenas. A lot of them will also learn to recognize each other's danger calls, which is very beneficial. It allows them a little extra blanket of protection, so that even if they don't necessarily see the danger that's headed their way, they do know it's coming and they can go ahead and move on and make sure that they are not caught by that predator. We're going to be continuing on a little further. I have been told that giraffes like to hang out up here on the left, so hopefully we'll be able to see some as we continue up here. up on a tower of giraffes here. Now the tower is what we call the group of giraffes. They tower over everything they see. They're the tallest animal in Africa, standing at around 20 feet. Now those giraffes that are sitting down are very rare to see, so take a mental picture. You only see that when they're absolutely comfortable with their surroundings, because they are much more vulnerable to attack when they're sitting down like that. And they only do that when they're absolutely comfortable, and most of the time they even will sleep standing up and with their eyes open. That is to make themselves look like they're still awake.
Bless you.
I feel like there's one more coming. As we head up this hill, check out these trees on the right and left hand sides of the truck. These are known as baobab trees. They go leafless for around 9 months out of the year in order to conserve water they'll hold in their trunk. Now the water that they conserve can be gallons upon gallons upon gallons, and that is what allows them to survive very long periods of time here in the heat of Africa. And the oldest recorded baobab tree is around 3,000 years old, which is also why they're known as the tree of life. Now they look more like a tree of life when they have leaves on them, but they're known as the tree of life because not only can they provide life for themselves, they can provide life for other animals, like elephants and giraffes. And mainly elephants will use their ivory tusks to poke holes in the trucks to get that water out. But speaking of elephants, unfortunately we probably won't see them later this year. Elephants have a curfew. The matriarch, the female that's in charge, will call all of her elephants together in one spot during the evening just to make sure she didn't lose anybody to poaching or lost when they were migrating. And then once it's pretty dark outside, usually after we've already all left the reserve, she'll let them out once again. She will, I guess, technically. And she'll make sure just the families are staying together. The mothers will take their children out for mother-children bonding time. Now these here on the left are the greater flamingo. They're the tallest and lightest pink of all the flamingo species. Now their babies when they're born are usually a gray color. They'll be gray for around a year and a half until they've had enough brine shrimp and other water creatures, which contains an ingredient called beta-carotene in it. Now the beta-carotene in their food is what's going to turn their feathers pink. Without it, they'd be a white or gray color, very similar to their children. But we're going to head to the east side of the savannah now. We're going to see what other animals we can find out here. As we enter into this side, that stand on the left-hand side there is just put there by the warden. It's put there to remind us that poaching is still a real issue out here in Africa, and unfortunately all over the world. Poachers are getting better, smarter, and faster at poaching animals out in the wild, and using the cover of darkness and new technologies, even being as daring as poaching animals on reserves, which has become extremely dangerous and a really big issue for all the species on reserves we consider to be threatened, endangered, critically endangered, or extinct in the wild. Now, a lot of the animals you're seeing here this evening fit into one of those categories, but are also facing issues like deforestation, poaching, and habitat loss in general. Now, at the Disney Conservation Fund, we are working to correct those issues little by little. We work in tandem with a lot of other conservation efforts, reserves, security teams, rehabilitation centers, and research facilities to keep these animals safe and help repopulate those on the brink of extinction as much as possible. Over the last year, we were able to raise $20 million to help animals in over 175 different countries. If you want to be a part of that, you can donate to the Disney Conservation Fund at any of your food or merchandise locations here on Animal Kingdom property. In return, Disney will match your donation dollar for dollar, no matter how little or large, and give you a button that usually has an elephant or a turtle on it to thank you for your donation so that you can wear it proudly and say that you helped out some animals. Now we're entering into the Kopi Rock formations here, which is where we normally see lions, so keep your eyes peeled for those big cats out here. He's right at the top.
Oh yeah.
Maybe on the tree now.
Let's go all the way up there. The lions are pretty lazy animals. They can sleep for up to, oh, he is up there, I can see him now. But they can sleep for up to 20 hours a day. They're most active in the evening. Their eyesight
Oh, you look at her.
6 times better at night than it is during the daytime. And we are coming up on a female that we can pretty plainly see here. That male is kind of hiding in the shadows. Oh, looks like there's another one up there as well.
Look at the pool.
The lionesses, the females, are going to be the ones that do the hunting. The males will stay at home protecting the pride and cubs, making them my favorite example of stay-at-home dads. The lionesses are very efficient nocturnal hunters. They can run around 30 to 40 miles per hour, leap over 30 feet, and they have pads on the bottom of their paws which allow them to sneak up on their prey. And they will also use these copy rock formations here to stalk their prey and survey all the savannah, which is very beneficial to them. It also allows them kind of a very, very nice view. Now, a lion's roar can be heard from over 5 miles away. It's a very, very powerful sound, although it's not as roar-like as you'd expect. When you hear a lion roar, that roaring sound that's coming from the movies isn't from a lion, it's actually from a tiger. So it actually sounds nothing like that. That sound, like I said, coming from a tiger. A lion sounds more like a groaning noise that kind of happens over and over again. But it's still very powerful and really, really cool. As we come around this corner, you're going to see the shadow of a white rhino way, way back there. White rhinos are very large. They can weigh up to about 5,000 pounds, although most of them are in the 4,000s range. Their group name is most appropriately named a crash of rhinos. Let me tell you why. Not only do they charge at around 35 miles an hour, but white rhinos are almost completely blind. They can only see about 6 to 8 feet in front of them during the day, and at nighttime that's cut in half to around 2 to 3 feet. And the little antelope that's in front of them over there are the bontabak. They're a cousin of the wildebeest. At the turn of the 20th century, we actually thought they would. It turned out that a farmer had about 17 of them left on his farm, which he threw all in a pen, starting a conservation effort for them, and those little buddies were resilient. They went from 17 to the numbers they are now, which is well over the thousands, making them one of conservation's greatest success stories. Now we are entering into the Magadi Glen. It's the newest part of our reserve. We've been working on acclimating our animals to this section ever since we got a hold of it. We're doing a pretty decent job so far. Now, a lot of exotic birds like to hang out over here because of the shade that the trees provide, and that's usually all we really ever see. Let's see what we can find. Let's see. Sometimes they like to hide from us too. Oh, there they are on the right-hand side. So there's some white birds up there. They're a little hard to see. They're way back in the water. Those are the yellow-billed storks. They are carnivorous birds, so they're probably currently hunting. They will completely stop moving when they're hunting until they see or hear movement, and then they'll just snap their beaks right about it. Or their bills, I guess, technically. But they will eat anything from lizards, fish, frogs, snakes, crustaceans to, unfortunately, their favorite snack is other smaller birds. Awkward. But as we pass through this gate, folks, we are making our way back towards the Harambe village. I do hope you enjoyed your time on here. I certainly enjoyed showing you around. If you're looking for some nighttime entertainment this evening, there are 3 showings of Rivers of Light. There's one at 7:15, one at 8:30, and another at 9:45. It's a beautiful water show located in the outdoor amphitheater in Asia. It has all kinds of floats, boats, singing, dancing, lighting, and water screens. There are no fireworks in the show for the safety of our wild animals, but it is quite a beautiful show and definitely something worth seeing. Also, if you want to go check out Pandora, their floating mountains and everything else, all their plants are bioluminescent, so they will glow in the dark at nighttime, which is really, really cool to check out. So if that's something you're interested in, head over to Pandora and check out those bioluminescent plants. But folks, we here at Kilimanjaro Safaris don't really like to say goodbye. It's far too sad and far too final. So instead we say Kwaherini, which in Swahili means to go well. So folks, go well, go wild, enjoy the rest of your night here in Africa, or wherever your travels may take you today.